Hey everyone, Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd. You know who it is. Hope you're doing well. And it is time for our weekly track Roundup, where I go over what I felt were the best and the worst tracks of the week. Before I get into the tracks, I want to shout out our sponsor in this video, the good people over at the Ridge Wallet. They make these nifty metal plated wallets, rubber bands strapped, money clipped, super compact, heavy duty, nice and tight. Been rocking mine for a few months now. It's still pretty hard as a rock. Fits nice and compactly in my front pocket. Way better than your old, disgusting, bulky, filthy, smelly, gross leather wallet. Get rid of it. Hit up the link down below. Use promo code Fantano, 10% off your first order, whatever you get. Also, you can use our Amazon and Turntable Lab associate links, especially that Turntable Lab one. Get yourself a record, get yourself a turntable, get yourself some audiophile gear. We get kickback from it. Supports the segment, supports the channels. All right, the worst tracks of the week. Let's do it. First off, this brand new single for the Venom soundtrack from Run the Jewels, Let's Go, the Royal We. Thought it was painfully boring. It's underwhelming me even more than it did when I originally did a little side review, a little side track review for it on the side channel, the Fantano channel. Just really mucky instrumental. LP doesn't even sound like he wants to be there. And I don't know, just all around not really that great or groomed of a song. But it is just some kind of one-off single track off of a blockbuster film soundtrack. They probably got paid a ton of money for it. And didn't need to put in that much effort into it. So, but whatever. It's not the end of the world. And it certainly probably will not be reflective of the duo's quality going forward. Moving on from there, new Bad Bunny song, Mia, featuring Drake. But it is on Drake's OVO label. And Drake essentially here trying to capitalize on the rising popularity of reggaeton and Latin pop. And it's funny, even though this is not another one of Drake's horrible dance hall numbers, the instrumental palette of this song is like the same boring, drab, gentrified, like totally flavorless instrumental palette that you get out of those same songs, except now he's doing more of a Latin flavor. And yeah, it's kind of a trash song. I've never really been a big fan of Bad Bunny up until this point. Like, I've thought his features were okay, but he sounds particularly tone deaf on this track. I don't know what it is about his vocal inflections, but they just sound like really off and awkward. And Drake does his thing in Espanol on this track. So if you ever wanted to hear Drake sound awkward in another language, I guess you have your opportunity to do so here. Moving on from there, Little Dragon have come through with a brand new single and easily one of my least favorite tracks they've ever released in years. The name of this one is Lover Chanting. While I don't mind Nagano's lead vocals on the track and the instrumental is okay, but the incessant refrain that plays throughout this track is really obnoxious, and to me just felt like it was really below the band. Just kind of felt like they were writing under their weight, I guess. And the final track in this section is from McCombs, who in a weird way is getting political on this new song, this track titled Noise Suite for the Green Party. I can't imagine this track is going to make anybody a convert. It's kind of a mess, and I didn't really quite get much out of it. It just felt like a really boring sound collage. All right, the tracks I was meh on didn't blow me away, but I thought they were worth mentioning. Another track from the Thom Yorke Suspiria soundtrack. He has been dropping track after track after track from the soundtrack. And this one is not as tuneful or as cleanly organized as the last single was. This new Untitled Volk is a bit more of an abstract sound piece. It did have some really interesting moments, though. Do give it a shot. ZEZE. This new song from Kodak Black featuring Travis Scott and Offset. This is the infamous little, like, miniature clipped meme video song that has been making the rounds on the internet for the past week or so, where Travis and Kodak and, you know, the whole crew. They're all in the studio, you know, doing these little beep, 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 beep. There's these nice little sunny, like, steel drum melodies playing in the track. And it's actually kind of a fun song. I like the instrumental. Kodak Black doesn't sound bad. I've actually enjoyed how he's been sounding as of late on his singles and on his features. Like, he sounds a bit more lively and doesn't sound as sloppy. You know, he sounds like a little bit more kept together and on tempo, though, you know, still his very distinct, unique drawl is there, and his weird kind of creaky melodic flows. They definitely feel like a bit more focused. So I'm definitely liking that. I'm definitely digging that. But honestly, in my opinion, it's really Travis Scott who I think ruins this track. His vocals are just way too overpowering on this song. And I think while the lyrics are not all that deep on the song generally, I feel like he really wasn't trying on the lyrical front of this track, and just sounded kind of goofy, really. Next, Health and Perturbator team up for a new single. If you guys remember, the last Health single was also a collaborative one. It seems like maybe this new record they're going to be doing maybe a lot of collabs. I don't know. This new one over here didn't turn out too bad. Just kind of sounded like they were doing a bit of a weird experimental shoegazy dark wave thing, obviously with Perturbator in the mix on this one. But I didn't really care for how buried the vocals were in the mix all that much, although that's typically Health's MO, but it's consistently been one of my least favorite things about their sound and about their style, but still, it's not a bad cut. Moving on from there, Fidlar have a new record on the way, new song out, and the title of this new one over here is Can't You See? Kind of a middling little psych rock, garage psych, I guess, ballad from the band that's not too bad. And definitely not as wild or as bold as the past couple of tracks they've been teasing toward this release with. Buke and Gase have come out with a kind of synthy ballad from their newest project titled Derby. And it's not too bad, definitely more tuneful and engaging than I think the last single they dropped. And let's get into the tracks I thought were the best ones of this week. Also, simultaneously, I do want to give a quick shout out to the new Young Lean single, Like Me, featuring Little Dude. Nasty little banger. Nasty little banger, although kind of short. Not a whole lot of substance to it, but it is a decent banger, and it is cool to hear lean drop tracks that have a bit more teeth to them. First of the best tracks this week, Willie Nelson, Vote Him Out, coming through with a little political track. It's kind of general ideologically, though, even though Willie has come out to support Beto O'Rourke. So, you know, if you are in the Texas area and do plan on voting in the midterms, which I highly recommend that you do, you should probably vote out smarmy-ass Ted Cruz, because he's a pile of garbage, but... even though he did step out for Beto, he kind of put out this general vote him out song. And it's a cutesy little country tune about how if you don't like the people in office, vote them out. Brr, 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 brr. It's cute. It's nice. It's fun. I like it a lot. Moving on from there, Weezer. Brand new single that I praised quite a bit on the Fantano channel when I did a track review earlier last week. This cut is from the band's forthcoming Black album, and Can't Knock the Hustle is the title of the song. Feels like a bit of one of those 90s throwbacks where it was a menagerie of different genres coming together, some rock music, some pop music, soul, and hip-hop coming out of some of the beats and the production style, and some of River's most meta lyrics in a while, too, in terms of Weezer, their trajectory, their success, his songwriting process, fame, attention, selling out, staying true to yourself artistically, but wanting to make a career in the industry. It's an interesting little track. Maybe I enjoy it because I'm deep into the Weezer meta, and a lot of the sounds off this track are nostalgic to me, but I still like it. I dug it. I want to give a shout out to a band with a track out that has been around for a while. It's not a brand new track, but it's brand new to me, and I thought it was really great. It's from a Swedish group by the name of Viagra Boys, and they have a noisy, weird little experimental post-punky art rocky, noise rocky new album out that dropped not too long ago. And this song over here that I love to point your attention to is called Sports. It is hilarious as hell. It's one of these weird, stripped down, abstract, kind of groovy and wordy noise garage tracks that are very tongue-in-cheek and sort of ironic. It's very fun. It's got a weird personality to it. Sports, cigarettes. You'll get a kick out of it, I'm sure. And the music video is hilarious as hell, so can't say enough nice things about it. Excuse me. This track comes from a rapper who I'm just becoming conscious of, who goes by the name of Quadry. 104 PM is the title of this new song, and it's kind of like a weird fusion between abstract hip-hop and like some indie rock style guitar sampling. It's very tuneful, it's very moody, it's kind of personal and beautiful, and I like it quite a bit. Also want to shout out this new Catronata produced song from Mick Jenkins. Seems like Mick is really kind of getting back on his thoughtful lyrics, his more stern vocal deliveries, his tight flows. I thought his last record kind of saw him floundering stylistically and really kind of saw him drifting away from what made him appealing in the first place. And it seems like he's really getting back to what made him great to begin with on some of these new tracks over here. So I'm kind of digging that. Little Gnar has a new project out that is not too long. It's kind of got a more aggressive streak to it and then a mellower streak to it to kind of, I guess, do a little bit of something for everybody. It's not a bad little project, but there is one song on it that stuck out to me that I would love to point you guys to. It's titled Man Down and features ZillaKami, who you guys know who you guys know, I'm sure some of you, has a new collaborative project out this week that I'm hoping to cover at some point soon. But this new song over here is kind of par of the course for a lot of these trap bangers that are coming out these days, where you get these heavy, like industrial metal, new metal, like extreme metal guitar samples placed throughout the track, and it just makes it sound super fucking gross and gnarly and heavy and badass and disgusting. And liking it a lot. Liking it a lot. You know, it's definitely heavy. It's definitely in your face. There's a huge energy to it. And I'll just leave it at that. It's a fun track. It's a heavy guitar-driven banger. And finally, I think this is the last track, Cloud Nothing's So Right, So Clean. I think this is the first or second track off of this forthcoming record that really kind of blew me away. Yeah, there was one other song off this record that kind of a grungy, shoegazy tone to it. This one, however, is a bit more of a stripped-down ballad, but it's got a great vocal melody to it, good chord progression too, and I'm definitely looking forward to it, which is great for me considering how underwhelmed I was by the muddy production off of the band's last LP. This new set of tracks definitely sound like they have a better sound going on, and I will leave it at that. All right, this has been the weekly track roundup for this week, everybody. Hopefully you got a lot of good recommendations out of this video. Hope everyone is doing okay, and I will catch you in the next one. Remember, all of the songs that I talked about are linked below, along with the good people over at the Ridge Wallet. Support them, support the segment, and you're the best. Anthony Fantano, weekly track roundup, forever.